The manufacturing sector in Singapore is important in keeping the economy diversified, said Deputy Prime Minister Teo Chee Hean, responding to a question on the debate surrounding the manufacturing sector and its job cuts over the past few months. DPM Teo explains that Singapore's approach in growing the sector is to go up the value chain.
Manufacturing was still an important part and would contribute to the sort of a wider and more diverse base for the Singapore economy. And if you look at the types of manufacturing that we're doing, certainly we're moving up the value chain. And we're also an interesting place to do the kind of incubation and prototyping work for manufacturing. So we do see that manufacturing continues to be an important part of the landscape.
When we say that manufacturing is an important part of Singapore, that does not imply that everything has to be done here. Because the engineering, the design, the initial elements of product conceptualization, that is all part and parcel of the value chain in manufacturing. And that's what you want to retain in Singapore in terms of the capabilities. There are parts of the value chain, for example, lower down in the end, where it is just simple assembly and it can very well take place outside of Singapore. So it isn't an intent to sort of retain everything here. It is to make sure that we pass that value chain and understand what fits our environment and our cost structure.
DPM Teo and Mr. Koh were part of a 14-member panel present at the 11th EDB International Advisory Council. It acts as a platform for international business leaders to air their views on key business trends and Singapore's economic development strategies. The IAC recommends Singapore grows the economy in 4 ways.
First, new capabilities. And Singapore needs to build new capabilities in emerging areas such as data analytics, consumer insights, business model and value chain innovation. Second, to explore opportunities in growth areas such as resource sustainability, all the things that have got to do with sustainable growth and urbanization, health, wellness and aging. Third is to help companies better understand and navigate the complexity in Asia and also help Asian companies to navigate the international operating environment as they globalize and internationalize. Finally, the IAC emphasized that Singapore has a lot of strengths and that we should continue to harness these fundamental strengths of trust, knowledge, connectedness, livability, speed and agility, which continue to be valuable in a global economy.
During the hour-long press conference at the Four Seasons Ballroom, several panelists explained why Singapore is the choice location for their companies to set up leadership and R&D centres.
Indian companies, for a variety of reasons, have difficulty sometimes in very nimbly prototyping their concepts and incubating them and exposing them to not just Asian consumers or sophisticated Asian consumers, but to global consumers. And I would argue that Singapore is not just a test bed for Asian consumers, but for global consumers.
What Singapore really is in terms of what the country has provided to us. And it's really helping to foster activities which are high-end, high added value, and where you want to see testbed activities in a very close collaboration with customers. For example, we have established here our Global Research and Development Center for Water.
We've had a very long, productive history here in Singapore. And we continue to invest very heavily, both in terms of our regional management as well as moving many of our corporate activities from London to here. We also have a very significant manufacturing presence, and I think probably the most interesting, certainly for us, the most interesting thing that Singapore offers for us at the moment is a venue for us to really test and prototype our future manufacturing technologies, particularly as far as environmental protection is concerned and greening. It really leaves you with a sense that it's very hard to conclude that the best days of Singapore are behind. And the role that EDB have played for the last 50 years continues to be an extremely important role in terms of crystallizing the receptor of how the world's business can connect with Singapore in a way which you really don't see anywhere else in the world. There are many poor imitations of the EDB. There's nowhere else in the world which has crystallized that capability in the way that the EDB has.
The 11th EDB IAC ran from the 2nd to 3rd of August at the Four Seasons Hotel.